Hello, probers.
Howdy!
And welcome to
Bollywood Aliens!
the podcast where we find alien evidence and poke it with a stick to see if it's actually an alien or whether it's really a $90 puppet that can't turn its head. This week...
Don't you know, baby, I'm your man.
Kevin the Grey. And with me is this week's co-prober, a man
Who don't need your freedom.
Kevin Walker.
Do, 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 do.
I quite like my freedom, actually. Also, you are not my man. I'm not really a fan of Wham.
You love Wham. So today, we are off to Chicago. Sorry. Shish kebab. Sorry, I mean Chicago. The city of Chicago, Illinois, is located on the shores of Lake Michigan and has a population close to 10 million people. That's a lot of people.
Isn't Chicago known as the Windy City?
Maybe? I can neither confirm nor deny.
Sorry, just a Kanye track came to my mind.
Chicago's sister city is Birmingham in the UK. See?
Birmingham.
Birmingham, you're alright.
Birmingham.
See, this is an educational podcast. I think I might have started dripping scouse there.
Yeah.
See, but, all right. Educational podcast. That is us. We could be teachers. Do you remember that television show, Teachers, with the little people in the background every episode?
Weren't we like, let's be teachers after watching that?
Yeah, after watching the first episode. Let's be teachers! Such was the power of that show.
Wasn't it 4 seasons in and then it got shit?
It got really shit because the bloke from The Walking Dead left.
And is it Andrew Little?
Lincoln?
Lincoln, that's it.
Yeah, he was utterly brilliant, and then he left, and the show absolutely...
Just tanked.
The arse fell out of it.
I wouldn't say it tanked, it just wasn't anywhere near as good.
So, back to Chicago.
Chicago!
The 7th of November, 2006, was an average day. Hey, hey, hey. A little overcast, but otherwise fine. We're at the Chicago O'Hare International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. It's either the 5th or 6th busiest, if you want to be nearly precise. The time was 4:15 p.m. A ramp worker was pushing back United Airlines Flight 446, known in the business as taxiing, with the flight scheduled to depart Chicago for Charlotte, North Carolina. Go Charlotte Hornets. And whilst we're at it, go New York Islanders. Fuck the Rangers. The employee noticed something and made the crew of Flight 446 aware of something above their aircraft.
So, other than going over the tannoy and letting them know that there was something above the plane,
Guys, there's something above the plane.
how do you think?
That's in your life cold.
How else do you think they could have made them aware?
The Team America sign. I don't know what this is called, but...
I remember it well, but I can't remember what the other guy says behind him.
He's mocking us. Or something.
Yeah, but then he says something else.
We'll have to
That
watch
feels
it.
so good. Also, fuck the Rangers!
After making the crew aware, the pilots looked up and saw what appeared to be a 6 to 24 foot, that's up to 7.3 metres long, dark grey metallic object loitering in the sky just below the completely overcast clouds. There would soon be other witnesses. Anything on your mind at this juncture, good
I was
sir?
just about to ask, were there more witnesses? Because if you're at an airport and this is above a plane, a lot of people should be seeing that.
Yeah, one of the busiest airports in the world.
Like, there should be... What year was it?
2006.
There should be video. There should be photos.
Oh, I don't know if there's video, but we might find out later as to what there is.
Busiest airport in the world, hey? Well, number 6.
Yeah, but you've also got to think,
No.
this is out on the runway.
You can still see
Can
the
you?
runway from...
You can't see the whole thing. You've got very small windows to look out of usually.
No, I mean from the airport itself. If you're in the airport looking out, you can see the runway.
You can't usually, I don't know when the last time you went to an airport is, but you can only usually see little sections.
2 years ago.
From each window, it'll point out into different bits. And this flight had just arrived. Therefore, the departure lounge wouldn't have been let in as yet. But anyway, there were many witnesses.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general.
Well, if they didn't have phones and didn't take pictures and videos, I might have to do a little song later. Might be accompanied by a dance.
I'm just going to advise you to sit on that song for today until towards the end.
Oh.
No. I'm not saying that something's going to completely change your mind and you're going to call it then. I'm just saying this one is not one where like it's a dude banging 18 aliens with 12 space titties.
Okay.
It's a more believable story.
I shall refrain from warming up my vocal cords.
Yeah, until you've got all the information at least.
You may continue.
Outside the airport, several further independent witnesses also saw the metallic object and described it as a disc shape hovering over the airport runway. One witness directly stated that this object was, and I quote, "obviously not clouds." The witness went on to state, as did the airport staff, that after a period, the disc which had been hovering suddenly shot directly vertical at unfathomable speed, leaving a clear blue hole in the sky where it had penetrated the clouds. The hole was witnessed to close back up shortly afterwards. Remind you of anything?
Butthole.
I meant the craft, but it's nice to know where your mind goes.
Does sound like the Tic Tac. Mm-hmm. Where it shot sideways
Yeah.
at such an incredible speed.
Yeah, just hovering, barely moving, then
Whereas this just
Gone.
goes up. So was there a sound to it at all?
not that I know of, no.
So it just shot straight up, no sound, no nothing.
Yeah.
Was there? So it was directly above this plane.
Pretty much, yeah.
So did the plane feel any vibration from the craft shooting up?
Not that I know of, but when I say above it, I mean, like,
Quite
imagine an
high above
airport, you've got a big chunky runway with several veering off, and it was sort of above that area.
Okay.
So it might not have been directly vertical from it, but if you looked up on the aircraft, you'd see it.
So the other
But-
people that
No vibrations on the aircraft, to my knowledge.
the witnesses that reported this was it all at the same kind
Yep.
of time?
Yep, pretty much, yep.
How long did it last?
We'll cover that.
Okay.
So the incident made it to the news both on television and in print. The Chicago Tribune daily newspaper summarised that the disc was visible for about 5 minutes and seen by around a dozen people employed by the airport, most of whom had come running outside to view the object after hearing chatter on their radios. It's like a flight in the school playground. A fight. It's like
There's a flight in the playground. Quick! Everybody, get out here!
It's like a fight in the school playground. One person shouts it, and everyone comes running. Fight!
I've done that. Like, heard fight and gone.
Yeah.
running.
So yeah, it lasted about 5 minutes to answer your earlier question that I said we'd get to in a
So,
second.
obviously, no one saw it appear. It was just all of a sudden
Just
there.
there. Yeah. Someone
So
looked up and
have
was
been
like,
there.
oh, what the hell is that?
Could have been there for longer than 5 minutes then.
Johnson, that looks like a giant Wiener!
Come and get your wieners. Oh, that looks like a giant tally.
Wacko!
5 minutes sitting there and then goes up. No lights, no nothing, just a grey disc, and then shoots up.
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't really have much to go on here.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'll let you continue.
Federal authorities received a report that a group of 12 airport employees were all witnessing a metallic saucer-shaped craft hovering over Gate C-17. Hovering. The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, the government body whom regulates civil aviation, including protecting assets during takeoff and re-entry of space vehicles, basically the aviation MIB FBI, initially completely denied having any information on the case. But then the Chicago Tribune submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, to which the FAA responded by conducting an internal review of air traffic communication tapes. This subsequently uncovered that a call had indeed been made to the FAA. They tried to cover it up, the dirty bastards.
Well, to be fair,
They got rid of all information except for the initial call in.
it says
Forgot that shit.
a call had been made.
Mm-hmm.
Was it received?
Well, they said it wasn't. But
But-
then they went over their records and found out, actually, we've still got record of this. It did come in.
Okay. Because it kind of sounds like if I made a call to you but you didn't answer, the records would still show that I made a call to you.
No.
If you get what
I get what you mean, but yeah. They took the
Ooh.
call. Said they didn't.
Slimy
Turns out they did.
bastards.
Why would they do that?
Why would you do it knowing that a Freedom of Information Act request would force you to give up that information? I suppose you're just hoping that everyone forgets about it and no one questions, but if that's possible. So is that the only thing they asked for? If you asked for that and they gave it up, wouldn't you start trying to dig for more stuff?
Well, yeah, but this is the thing, that all records were gone. They said they didn't have anything, but then that turned up when they went over the records. So clearly they had taken the call and it would have been logged, but there's no other information
Nothing
there.
else,
So, whoosh, up in flames, like NASA.
Ooh, just like NASA.
So the FAA refused to formally investigate this case. They cited the reason being that no UFO was seen on radar, ergo they concluded, without investigation and despite approximately 12 professional witnesses plus separate witnesses, that this was down to weather phenomenon. Remember, a witness even said that this was definitely not clouds.
They already know what this is. That's why they're not investigating. I wouldn't say they either had it or they were aware of what was in it or what it was, and they were like, no, just leave it to do what it wants.
It's the weather.
It's a weather balloon.
But yeah,
It's a weather balloon.
if you had a referral come in of that nature by that many people, you would absolutely go out and investigate, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just be like, oh, it's nothing.
I mean, what could you investigate, though, to be fair? I mean, you'd investigate what they saw and if they had any evidence, but other than that, it's not as if it's left any evidence in the spot where it was hovering. If it was on the floor or on the ground, for example, and left indentations or radiation marks or something, fair enough. If it's just hovering in the sky and goes straight up, there's not really much you can do.
When the calls came in, I think it was still hovering in the sky.
How far away are they to get there?
I couldn't tell you that.
Not that I'm giving them excuses out of this, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to look at both sides on balance, haven't you? So an astronomer named Mark Hamagen went public saying that weather conditions on the day of the sighting were right for a hole punch cloud, which is an unusual weather effect, also known as a fall streak hole, often mistakenly attributed to UFOs. These holes are formed when the water temperature in the clouds is below freezing point, but the water hasn't actually frozen due to a lack of ice nucleation. When ice crystals form, it's like dominoes and causes all the water around the ice crystals to evaporate, leaving a big hole. This can be kicked off by passing craft, which quickly cool the air due to differences in pressure behind the wings.
One, there was no craft that passed,
Well, it was above an airport, to be fair. Again, playing devil's advocate against myself.
but then how long does the craft have to pass for it to fall?
I think it could literally just fly by it.
But that still doesn't explain what everybody saw and then it
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah, okay.
If it was just they saw the whole punch cloud, fair enough, you could explain that. But they saw the silver object.
Have you ever seen a hole punch cloud?
Can't say I have.
Should we just Google it quickly?
Was I having a Google?
Well, I was encouraging you to have a look quickly as well.
Well,
Yeah, that looks nothing like a UFO.
that looks sod all like a UFO.
But I can understand the interpretation of a craft shooting up, creating that effect.
100%.
But I don't think you could call the hole itself a UFO.
But if you look at all of these, they all have a point underneath.
Yeah.
So if a UFO was to shoot up and there wasn't, we really need a picture of what they saw that day.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it?
Because if there was just the donut and then it quickly filled, fair enough. I would err on the side of UFO. Until then, I'm skeptical. Skeptical Jack.
I know it could be science, but it might not be. So let's just repeat the FAA's mandate. This agency is mandated to investigate possible security breaches at American airports. This was an object witnessed by more than a dozen people and officially reported at one of the busiest airports in the world. These bastards not only refused to investigate, but they tried to claim that it wasn't even officially reported to them until journalists did their job and uncovered the truth. Surely, you want to be on the safe side. At least send the office apprentice to take a look around.
Is it a security breach at that point?
It's flying over an airport, of course it is.
What if it's friendly?
But you can't make that assumption.
What if they know what it is, though?
It's breached protected lines.
If they know what it is and it was like, I'm just going to fly over one of your airports. Just want to have a look.
But they're saying that it wasn't anything, though. That's the point. They're not saying that it was an aircraft.
Yeah, but they can't let people know it's aliens. I really notice how much
You're looking for a job with them, aren't you?
I'm already on the side of this is aliens.
I feel like I've got to try and convince you that it's not aliens again.
So any security breach, they are meant to be there.
Yeah, any potential security breach. So if even if it is an aircraft, if it's not registered, if it's not where it should be, and it goes over an airport, that's a potential security risk. That could be terrorism, for example. They've got to investigate it.
What we need
They've got sightings here and ignored it.
What we need to find out is who took the call, who it went to, what's their background. Are they lazy SOBs? Are they?
You'd like to think they don't employ lazy SOBs in this type of role.
Are they?
But he'd just been left by his wife that morning. He got into work. No, there's a goddamn UFO at the airport.
Is he someone that's
And he's
just
like,
been demoted?
God.
Has he just worked a 12-hour shift, was meant to go home, and then someone called in sick, so he had to stay there?
And he really wanted a bowl of Frosties
Why Frosties?
because that's his favourite cereal.
Crunchy nut cornflakes all the way.
This isn't you.
I don't care. A little bit of product placement there. Pay us, Kellogg's.
I do love Frosties, actually.
I'm not a fan. Crunchy nut cornflakes.
They're
all the way.
great! So the National Aviation Reporting Centre on Anomalous Phenomena, or NARCAP, have published a 155-page report on this sighting, which I have not read a single word of, but I did read a free article summarising it. The report called for a government inquiry into how this was not investigated or what went on. alongside better energy sensing technology, because if an object can hover for 5 minutes over a plane at an airport without being detected, that is a threat to security.
You are not wrong there. But they say they need better energy sensing technology.
Yep.
What if that craft had the technology not to be sensed?
Then we need the technology that can sense technology that can't be sensed.
It would mean no matter what you do, you're not.
Yeah, you're always... Well, there's always a one-upmanship going on, isn't there?
So we're...
New tech to detect the new tech that can't be detected by tech that can develop the last tech.
Precisely. I wonder what could be detected down to like the tiniest thing right now.
Drones?
So if there was
Pigeons?
For example, I was about to say a shift in temperature, but then we do have heat sensors. I'll think about that.
So I have a little line of thought I'd like to run by you. We've come across lots of reports of saucers, Tic Tacs and cigars at this point, an awful lot. Has anyone ever considered that these could be the same things seen at different angles? I'm going to show you a few images at different angles. Ooh. So if you'd like to check out this first one, and if you'd like to go through these slowly one at a time, please. So this image, don't get too close. What shape would you say it is?
Blimp.
Shape?
Oval.
Kind of saucery. Lean back a little bit.
Depending on the angle you're looking at it from.
I think the further back you get, the more cigar-like it looked. Certainly up close, it looks like a saucer.
Yeah, 100%, actually. What it kind of reminds me of at the moment is District 9, the ship that was...
fucking prawn! I love that film.
The massive ship that was just hovering over
Johannesburg.
Yeah. When they shot it from a distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it could also be a blimp.
Yeah.
So right now, that could be a cigar, a disc, or a blimp.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you were just saying.
A blimp, you could say, is a similar shape to a Tic Tac, actually. So here is the USS Nimitz UFO from file 5 of our show, which we broke before the news went big, you may remember, or not.
That I do.
Because we're ahead of the news! So again, what shape is that to you?
Tic Tac.
Yeah.
I'd call that.
But if you were to turn that on its side, so rather than upside down,
looking pretty much
it could
the same thing.
Yeah,
before. It's
almost the same shape as the thing above, isn't it? And then, just to have a closer look at it, if you'd like to look at this next one.
So I'm staring at a Tic Tac, which looks like it has legs. Did you put legs on the Tic Tac?
No, I actually found this image and I thought I could use it.
That's fantastic. That is a Tic Tac with legs.
So I've got a photo here that's of one of the USS Nimitz mock-ups. An aircraft is flying in the background and a literal Tic Tac is hovering just above the sea. So here's the last image that I meant to show you. This is more of what you'd call a cigar.
Yeah. I can't explain what that is other than a giant cigar.
Yeah, but again...
Like, with the others, you could say, oh, that could be a blimp. That could be this.
But with this one, it's got that little bobble towards the middle. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, the further you get away from it, the more disc... or the closer you get to it, the more disc-like it can look. If you look at that first one again.
And then look at that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the others, though, you could say, oh, that could be a blimp. That could be this. Yeah. With this one, it can't be anything man-made that we know of.
I think it could be a really long Zeppelin. A really long Zeppelin. But anyway, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that depending on how close you are to these items, they all start looking similar. Like, from the angle on that cigar, that could be a disc. We're just looking at it dead on, so you can't see.
But then even a disc isn't man-made. What if these are different forms of the USS Enterprise? We're seeing, like, the trial version.
Yeah. We could be. I mean, this could be a civilization. It could even be our own military creating this technology without us being aware.
Just testing it out.
So, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that they do all look somewhat alike if you catch them at the right angle. It could be that we're being visited by one civilization, as I say, or that we're developing one piece of tech. It doesn't have to be all different things and we say it's bullshit. Before we summarise, I have a little video to summarise what went down. Please check the following link, Mr. Moonwalker. And apologies in advance for the sound quality of this clip.
It's one of UFO mystery at one of the nation's busiest airports. Several pilots apparently.
Okay, so
and
we
United
are
Airlines workers at
currently
Chicago's
watching a
O'Hare
video which is
swear
just showing
they
the
saw
airport.
A UFO. They say it hovered over a terminal without lights before shooting straight up right through the clouds.
Not really
last
doing
fall.
anything other than just
The
showing a
FAA
plane
still is
take off at
investigating,
the
but
moment.
federal officials believe it was just some strange weather phenomenon.
Flights come to Chicago's O'Hare Airport from all over the world. But do they come from other worlds?
You don't believe this was possibly your imagination?
It was definitely not my imagination.
Joe is a mechanic for United Airlines. While taxiing a jumbo jet to the hangar, he and another mechanic
Looked out the window in the general direction and noticed an object up in the sky, dark gray object.
Joe is all
above the terminal complex.
blacked out, so you can't see who
Joe
Joe is.
is one of several airport workers, some of whom have talked to the Chicago Tribune, who said they saw a saucer-shaped UFO hovering just beneath the clouds at the airport. He's the first to go on camera to talk about it since this happened several weeks ago. He wants to remain anonymous. But you're sure it was some kind of object that normally would not be above O'Hare Airport?
I've been at O'Hare for quite some time, and let's just say that I've never seen an object in my time there that looked like this. And I'll tell you, definitely it was not an airplane as we know it.
But it could be an airplane as another world knows it.
Possibly.
We brought in one of Chicago's
Definitely not an airplane as we know it, it would seem.
Contours of the object.
to listen to Joe and draw a picture of what he says he saw.
More like an oval. Dark gray oval.
Because no photos have surfaced, and Joe doesn't know of any. Now, it didn't say Goodyear on it, did it?
That picture he drew,
No, that's a really good
can you
drawing.
remember the film
Very much
Arrival?
so, yeah.
Other witnesses
Looks like
told the
those on their
organization
side.
called the National UFO Reporting Center that the object eventually shot straight up in the sky at a great rate of speed.
It looked like literally someone had poked a hole in the clouds. It's a round hole.
Joe thinks the disc is either a stealthy military project or a spacecraft from another planet. But
I find it very strange or very peculiar that somebody who possesses the technology to travel between star systems would sit over an airport in Chicago.
hard to argue that.
It is hard to argue that, really.
Airline says we are aware of what the employees said they saw, but this is not something United would investigate. Talk to the FAA, says the airline. The TSA and the Chicago Department of Aviation also told us to talk to the FAA. So we did. And an FAA spokesperson told us we too don't have the power to investigate.
Oh,
That radar did not pick up anything out of the ordinary, and the sighting might have been caused by a weather phenomenon. And you don't believe it was a weather phenomenon?
Not at all. Not for a minute.
O'Hare has apparently been UFO-free since that November afternoon, although Joe now tends to pay special attention to that same patch of airport sky.
I bet he does.
Gary Tucker,
Indeed.
CNN, Chicago.
Oh, hey, hey, John. Hey, John, how are you? I'm all fine. How are you? Busy with this UFOs.
so at the end of the video, they cut back to a news anchor who was clearly not ready for them to cut back to him.
He shat his pants.
He really did. Oh, that is really weird.
What's weird?
Just in general.
He comes across quite genuine, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And you do get the sense that this one's just been really, really covered up.
Especially when the FFA said we don't have the power to investigate.
When that's
It's like,
exactly...
isn't that your job?
We've been over their mandate twice. That indeed is their job.
Sneaky
Unless they're
bastards.
saying that it's some higher power than theirs job. That's the MRB.
I was just trying to think of other organisations that would be higher.
The MRB.
Yeah. And they were like, we know what it is. It's fine.
It's weather phenomena.
Something like a phenomenon.
Phenomena. I was just thinking that too. So that pretty much sums up the story for today. We've had, well, not too too much, but we've had an overcast day, a plane is being taxied, suddenly a hovering metallic disc is seen above the plane, word gets out around the airport, and about 12 staff witness it alongside further members of the public. It's hovering for about 5 minutes, then it suddenly shoots into the sky at ridiculous speeds, leaving a hole in the clouds behind it. A report was made to the FAA, but they opted not to investigate as far as public records are concerned, and they say that it was a weather phenomenon. I then showed you a few UFO images to put forward a theory that some of the shapes popularised in the annals of ufology may be the same type of craft as had possibly been seen within this file. I'll admit it's a tough one to draw a conclusion on because the FAA basically shat all down the legs of it. What do you think of the file?
I would agree with you there. It could be, but then it might not be. There's no hard evidence there.
They've dicked all over the hard evidence.
So because no one's come to report it, there's no more on it. But then because they've not come to report it, it's shady.
And I think, whilst the weather phenomenon could have happened, it's very coincidental to get a hovering metallic disc in the sky to shoot up and then the phenomenon happen around it at the exact right moment.
Not only that,
Because they saw this disc for 5 minutes before that happened.
you would, like you say, that disc was there for 5 minutes. You would notice if there wasn't something there and then it formed. That would be strange. But to see something there and then it formed, then them to say, no, there was nothing there. It's a weather balloon.
Yeah.
Right. I do not believe that it was a weather condition. I think a lot more people would have seen it if it was a weather condition, and it possibly would have lasted
Longer?
I'm thinking that, but then I've never seen one to know how long it lasts.
Yeah.
If anyone has seen one, let us know how long they normally last. FFA did not want to do their job here. Like I said, we need to investigate who took the call.
They didn't want to know, despite this going around the globe. They've basically rubbed their name in the sand, haven't they, there? Or rubbed it in the mud, rather. We protect our skies. You had this report come in.
No, we didn't.
What report? This one here. Ah!
Well, it was a weather condition. That sounds just like Roswell. It was a weather balloon.
Same lies. 60 years later.
Believe it or not, I am torn.
I can feel the tension in your butthole.
It's not aliens.
You're not saying that it was aliens?
I'm not saying it's aliens.
So I guess the decision here becomes, what are we saying that it was? Because on this show, we don't bullshit around. We say if it's aliens or if it's something else.
No.
So we need to decide
What
this
I'm
was.
saying is there isn't enough evidence here for me to say that it was aliens. Like, not enough physical. Like,
Yeah.
if someone took pictures, I mean, it's 2006.
Yeah.
Everyone has a phone at that point.
Yeah.
Why is there no grainy video, grainy shaky cam taken of it? So I can't say that it was aliens. And the FAA's behaviour is sketchy. But at the same time, if they just took the call and thought, oh, this is bullshit, then
So what do you think it was then?
I don't know. Did it happen?
Oh, it certainly happened. You heard him.
There was, because I think everyone that saw it was a member of staff. So what if they all
There were
came...
other witnesses, but they just weren't. Obviously, you've got engineers and whatnot that are credible witnesses, and they could name them and whatnot. And whereas members of the public, like I was explaining at the start, because of the way airports are set up, there wouldn't be as many as what you might assume at a busy airport because they're all over different sections.
Yeah. Okay, I can't explain what it was, but I can't say that it was aliens. Can't bring myself to say it.
Ooh, controversial. That's not what we do on this show. We decide.
And I'm deciding it's not aliens.
I'm happy if you decide that. I just want to push you to say what it is. But yeah, I'm not saying it was aliens either, but I did splinter my arsehole on this one. I'm still not 100%. I, much like Granville, think that there's not enough evidence in this day and age, although this was 2006, so it wasn't as easy as what it is today. You've got to remember to just upload things to Twitter or YouTube. So we're talking about old school, like Generation 1 camera phones, or
Even still.
so it wouldn't have been as easy, but I still think there could have been something. I do think another possibility is that the FAA or some other organisation could have taken all this evidence. Again, this is more primitive technology back in 2006. I know that sounds strange to say, but they're not going to be able to upload things straight away. There isn't like 4G connection back then. So you could take someone's phone, wipe the details, boom, done. It's never going to come back. It's not like it is today, and something like that could have happened. But I would just expect, just a tiny bit more evidence to be able to definitively say this was aliens. I think it might have been some sort of experimental Earth craft, perhaps. Like whether it's an early drone and then this weather condition is going on, perhaps they're investigating that. Who knows?
Who knows indeed.
But yeah, I just don't feel there's quite enough to say it was alien, so I am saying that it was human tech for now. You?
Still unsure. I ain't budged.
Yeah, I mean, I could be easily swayed, because I'm like literally about 51%, 49% on saying this wasn't aliens.
Same.
And I could easily be pushed over the edge. Maybe we'll come back to it if more videos and whatnot surface in the future, but for now, I just don't feel quite confident enough to put our honourable reputation on the line and say that it was aliens. But, nah. I can still change right now. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm, like you said, I am same as you, 51-49. If just a video came out, like, it doesn't even have to be great detail, but if you can see the silver craft and then see it go up, I'm in.
Yeah, and I suppose another thing that might have swayed me is I think if this was definitely aliens and the FAA did detect that it was aliens, they probably would have scrambled jets or something to the area. A whole lot more than what actually did happen.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, did it? I'm just going back over my notes before I close.
There was nothing about jets.
But yeah, I think they probably would have sent something in had this definitively been aliens, and that's what leads me to believe again that it's probably human explanations in this one.
Didn't even send in the apprentice.
No. Right, probers, that's us for today. Stick a probe in us, we are done. By us, I mean Granville.
Hey.
If you'd like to learn a little bit more about us, well, I say learn. If you'd like to see some more silly stuff that we do, you can follow us on Instagram at But It Was Aliens Podcast, and on the Twitter, we're at But It Was Aliens. Thank you for listening to But It Was Aliens. We will catch you or be caught by you next week. But until then, if you're seeing strange lights in the sky,
If you're seeing a turd in the punch bowl,
if you're smelling strange smells from your fridge,
ooh, what kind of strange smells?
dead people smells.
Oh, I need to check my fridge.
If you're ever in doubt, the truth is up there. #.